Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Bonsai Blacksmith. Today I have my Bougainvillea forest that needs a trimming. It needs to be pruned back. We got a beautiful flower going on here. It's the red Bougainvillea. I'm not sure what color these are. If I had to guess, they're probably also red. So I'm going to go ahead and trim these so the wind stops causing chaos. Here you can see it's a very windy environment, especially during the change of season. So we're going to go ahead and cut these back, and I'm going to change that camera angle for you. Let's go. Just wanted to give you a close-up of the flowers before you prune them off, and of the forest. As you can see that there's been a lot of disturbance here from the wind, so I need to really prune these back. Where will I trim first? Well, I'm going to get to some of the obvious ones with the longer internodes. Go ahead and, hate to do this, but I'll start with this big cut. Get this out of the way. Sorry. Beautiful, but sorry. I'm going to keep looking here at my ramification. Look for the smallest internodes. This branch here, I'm just going to leave as is. It's got long nodes, but I want to branch in that direction. We'll see if it backbuds. For the top here, I'm going to trim this back. Got some long internode here, so I'll trim it right here. Take that off. Here, I like this going up, so I'll go ahead and trim this. There we go. Another big cut. Let's see what we got going on here. You can see that the wind is causing chaos with these trees. I'm going to defoliate some of this bougainvillea just to help with the wind situation. These bigger leaves don't need to be here. I'll take those off. That'll also cut down on that wind a little bit. Any leaves that are crisscrossing on each other, we don't need those. Get in there, there we go. It just came right off. So we've got a long stem here. I'm going to go ahead and cut off the longest internode. That's gone. Leave this small guy here. He's doing well. Even going to start to flower. This has a leaf pointing up. I'm going to change the zoom on that so you can get a closer look. So I realized we might benefit from this freehand style. I have this long shoot here, and I got these long internode. I don't want that. Facing up is okay. But these shorter internodes hiding in here is really what I want to preserve right there. So let's go ahead and cut right here for now. Take a look at that. Get an idea. Allow some more ramification. Now up here you can see where I've cut, leaving different options for it to backbud. See how those develop. Some of these leaves, larger leaves, are probably not necessary, but I'm going to leave them for now. For the sake of ramification, I'm actually going to go ahead and cut this tree back. I know it was about the flower, but at the same time, I think that the ramification is more important. So that's what I'm working on here. I'm going to go ahead and cut this back even further. Take out some of these lower leaves, some of these bigger leaves. All right, you can still see what I'm doing. Great. This here's got a long internode, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that back right where they're starting to flower. So that's gone. That'll grow up, hopefully. Here's starting to grow up. I don't want these to grow into each other, so I'm going to snip that out. I'm going to leave these down here to bud out and see how they develop this trunk on this tree. Get an idea of what's going on here. Now this is a very unique trunk on this. This was a cutting. I'm like, I couldn't let it go. Kind of that J shape. I'll have to figure out what to do with that over time. For a ground level on the forest, this is what's going on. Remove some of these grasses. So here's the odd cutting. slash trunk. You can see we have a shoot growing out of it now, which I did trim. That's where most of those flowers are growing off of. So we'll see how that develops. Might make that into a gin later, or we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I want to cut this back a little bit, and you can see how my ramification is paying off up here, starting to develop into a nice complex trunk, but I think I also still need to remove a few more pieces there. So this one leaf here is growing inward, so let's get rid of that. This leaf is growing under another leaf, so let's get rid of that. Cut that back a little bit, that nub. We're going to let this shoot grow, see how that goes for now. This leaf, we'll leave that leaf alone. I have an area here, we've got multiple leaves growing out of one point. So what I'm going to do is take the bigger of the two out. Makes this more of a pad. I have these two leaves growing downwards, which I don't want, so I'll remove these like so. The point of a forest is really to see the tree trunks, so I'm going to go ahead and just trim this for now. See how that goes. As well as take off this piece on this side, like so. Applying trunk theory to this one as well, we can cut off this lower, even though it needs to thicken, cut off those lower ones for now. So we have these three leaves kind of facing down, so I think I'm going to get rid of all of those. I think that's really the best plan. So we'll go ahead and cut this off the bottom here as well. Now, I can tell which is which now. The bigger leaf here is the red Bougainvillea, and the smaller leaves there are the purple and white Bougainvillea. That's one of the telltale signs. I think just because of wind resistance, I am gonna, and this intersection here is 3 and 1. I'm gonna take out this big leaf. That way, it might ramify. Definitely gonna add less wind resistance there to the plant, so it doesn't get shaken out. I'm watching it move here, doing what I can to brace it. I got the small rock. So I zoomed you back out here so I can do some more pruning. I've decided on this long shoot that had the flowers on, I am going to cut it back further after thinking about it. Reason being is we got all this new growth here and I wanted to encourage it more, and there's a new bud growing right there. So it only made sense to me. I'm going to get some of these stems I left behind from the initial pruning just to make it look cleaner. We get these leaves that are facing in the wrong direction or crisscrossing each other out of the way. So far, we're doing all right. There's that. Let's see here. There's that. Taking some of the bigger leaves out first, because that way it's encouraged to grow smaller leaves each time. It's kind of facing down. Get that. Dogs have a lot to say today. This one's kind of, well, this one's going back toward itself. Get rid of that. This one's going back toward the middle. Get rid of that. And just do an assessment on these leaves on the smaller, on the purple and white bougainvilleas, just to make sure that they're getting all the proper light that they can get. There's that. Yeah, I think so. I think we're doing all right on that. There's not too many leaves on these. Kind of want to leave them alone, especially little guy here. Yeah, I think that's all the pruning for now. All right, so I got my Bougainvillea forest all trimmed up and watered. I've sheared up the plant bases. There's less wind area now on the leaves, so it's safer for these to grow and establish themselves. Just to be clear, these were all originally cuttings that I have rooted from my own two very large and mature bougainvilleas in my yard that are planted directly into the ground. And I have to trim them 3 or 4 times a year. They grow very, very fast. So again, thank you for joining me on another episode of the Bonsai Blacksmith. Until next time.